At this very moment, the eyes of the world are fixed on the Vatican. A significant chapter has closed, and millions mourn in silence as news spreads. Pope Francis has died. Now the crucial question arises: who will succeed him? And what direction will the Catholic Church take next? Welcome back to the channel. Today, we reflect not only on the passing of a pope, but on the life of a man who devoted himself to serving humanity, protecting the poor, and inspiring generations. Whether your interest lies in faith, church developments, or simply in making sense of these changing times, this video is meant for you. Let's dive in, and don't forget to leave a like if this message resonates with you. April 21st, 2025 will be remembered as a somber milestone for Catholics everywhere, as Pope Francis, spiritual leader for more than 10 years, passed away at age 88. His death closes a remarkable papacy and leaves a deep emotional impact across the globe. Observing the current atmosphere, it's clear why global attention has turned to the Vatican. Pope Francis wasn't merely a religious figure. He represented empathy, humility, and hope to countless people. With his passing, the Church stands before a defining moment: the election of a new pontiff. This event is more than a religious ritual. It is a solemn, historic tradition steeped in centuries-old customs and spiritual significance. So, who is next in line? In this video, we'll revisit Pope Francis's life, explore the papal election process, and introduce 5 notable contenders who may inherit the role. But first, let's honor the legacy of a man who profoundly shaped the Catholic Church over the past decade. Born on December 17, 1936, in Buenos Aires, Argentina, Pope Francis, originally Jorge Mario Bergoglio, came from an Italian immigrant family. His journey in the Church began in 1969 with his ordination as a priest, launching a lifetime of devotion to God. Over time, he rose through the ranks: bishop, archbishop, and eventually cardinal. On March 13, 2013, following the unexpected resignation of Pope Benedict XVI, Jorge Mario Bergoglio was elected pope. A rarity in church history, where most popes serve until death. Upon ascending the papal throne, he chose the name Francis, honoring St. Francis of Assisi, known for his humility and care for the poor, a choice that foreshadowed his entire papacy. From day one, Pope Francis distinguished himself with remarkable humility. He refused the lavish papal apartments, opting instead for a modest room at Santa Marta Guest House. He chose simple cars over luxury ones and even carried his own bag onto flights, gestures that redefined what it means to lead. But his humility was matched by deep compassion. Pope Francis championed the cause of the poor and marginalized, famously declaring, "I want a poor church for the poor." This was not mere rhetoric. It was a mission he lived out by visiting slums, engaging with the homeless, and calling on the world to remember those left behind. Pope Francis has also made his voice heard on major global concerns. A key message he delivered focuses on climate change and the environment. In his well-known encyclical Laudato Si', he referred to the Earth as humanity's shared home and insisted that safeguarding nature is a duty not only for politicians or scientists, but for every individual. He has voiced strong support for the Paris Climate Agreement, urging nations to unite in cutting pollution and conserving resources. Moreover, he has championed eco-friendly efforts within the Church, from adopting renewable energy in the Vatican to motivating parishes worldwide to act for the planet. This initiative boldly positioned the Catholic Church in the heart of global environmental discussions. Still, Pope Francis's time in office hasn't been free of controversy. As a reformist, he has pushed for change, which often meets resistance. He initiated discussions around delicate church matters, such as the inclusion of divorced and remarried Catholics, empowering women in church leadership, and the Church's handling of sexual abuse scandals. Not all clergy or cardinals welcomed these moves. While some claim he is straying too far from long-standing traditions, others see him as a reformer, making the Church more relatable and engaged with today's world. His approach to the sexual abuse crisis is a clear example. He not only offered public apologies to victims, but also introduced concrete steps for their protection and penalized offending clergy. Many believe these actions were long overdue. Pope Francis is also recognized for promoting peace and religious dialogue. He made landmark visits to Muslim-majority countries like the UAE and Morocco, where he called for cooperation among faiths for world peace. One notable event was his 2015 visit to Cuba, making him the first pope to visit the nation. There, he met political leaders and helped facilitate reconciliation between Cuba and the United States, reflecting his role as both a spiritual leader and a global peacemaker. In more recent years, Pope Francis's health has drawn increasing attention. He has been hospitalized on several occasions due to age-related respiratory problems. Each incident left the world anxiously waiting for updates from the Vatican. Yet, his positive spirit never wavered. On one occasion, when asked about his health, he smiled and replied, "I'm still alive." His resilience has won admiration from Catholics and non-Catholics alike. Sadly, he can no longer carry on his mission, leaving a global sense of loss. When a pope passes away or steps down, the Catholic Church initiates a special process called the conclave to elect his successor. This ancient ritual, steeped in tradition and symbolism, has been observed for centuries. Let's explore how this fascinating event unfolds. The conclave begins once the papal seat becomes vacant, either through death or resignation. During this time, leadership is temporarily assigned to the College of Cardinals, senior church officials known for their red garments. Their responsibility is to assemble in the Vatican to elect a new pope. However, only cardinals under the age of 80, called electors, may vote, and their number is capped at 120 to ensure fairness. The voting takes place in the Sistine Chapel, famed for its spiritual significance, and Michelangelo's ceiling frescoes. At the start of the conclave, cardinal electors enter and take an oath of secrecy. The chapel is sealed, cutting them off entirely from the outside world. No phones, no internet, no contact, ensuring the sanctity and transparency of the process. Voting occurs 4 times each day, 2 sessions in the morning and 2 in the afternoon. Each cardinal writes their chosen candidate's name on a folded ballot and places it in a central chalice. 3 appointed cardinals count the votes. A candidate must secure at least 2/3 of the vote to be elected. After each session, the ballots are burned in a special stove. If no result is reached, chemicals create black smoke to signal this to the public. But once a candidate wins the required votes, white smoke rises, marking the joyous announcement of a new pope to the world. At that moment, the Dean Cardinal approaches the elected candidate and poses the question, "Do you accept your election as pope?" If the person accepts, he then chooses a new papal name, a time-honored tradition of the Church. Following this, the newly elected pope wears the traditional white vestments, appears on the balcony of St. Peter's Basilica, and offers his first blessing to Rome and the world. Before this, the dean addresses the crowd with the declaration, "Habemus Papam," Latin for "We have a pope." It is a defining moment when global attention turns to the Vatican to greet the new pontiff. This is more than a religious formality. It represents the enduring continuity of the Catholic Church. It reminds us that no matter the shifts in the world, the Church remains steadfast in its core beliefs and traditions. Yet, one question remains. If the next conclave happens soon, who will be chosen? Let's explore the 5 leading contenders who are gaining recognition as likely successors to the papacy. The first candidate is Cardinal Luis Antonio Tagle from the Philippines. Born in 1957, he stands out as a major figure in the modern Catholic world. Often referred to by his nickname Chito, a reflection of his modest and friendly demeanor, he became a priest in 1982 and earned a doctorate in theology from the Catholic University of America, a top-ranking institution for theological studies. He was consecrated as bishop in 2001 and elevated to Archbishop of Manila in 2011. a key position in the country with the highest number of Catholics in Asia. In 2012, Pope Benedict XVI made him a cardinal, and by 2018, Pope Francis placed him in charge of the Church's global missionary work as prefect of the Congregation for the Evangelization of Peoples. His reputation comes not only from his credentials and roles, but also from his personality and compassion. Widely respected for his humility, his eloquence, and his deep concern for the marginalized, Cardinal Tagle regularly visits poor neighborhoods in the Philippines to listen to people and comfort them. He is also vocal in defending Catholic teachings, such as opposing abortion and warning society against what he calls practical atheism. With his warm-hearted leadership and forward-thinking approach, many view him as a leading papal candidate. Should he be elected, he would make history as the first pope from Asia. Another top contender is Cardinal Péter Erdő of Hungary, one of Europe's most influential Catholic leaders. Born on June 25, 1952, in Budapest, he came from a devout Catholic family and showed early dedication to both faith and learning. He was ordained in 1975 at just 23 years old, marking the start of a lifelong commitment to pastoral service. Erdő's academic achievements are particularly impressive. He holds doctorates in both theology and canon law from highly esteemed institutions. This rare combination gives him exceptional analytical and legal insight, allowing him to excel in leadership. Mastery in both fields is uncommon and requires great discipline. These strengths helped propel him into significant positions, including Archbishop of Esztergom, Budapest, in 2002, the highest post in Hungary's Catholic hierarchy. In this capacity, he played a crucial role in guiding the Church through Hungary's post-communist transformation, symbolizing faith and unity in a changing nation. In 2003, Pope John Paul II named him Cardinal, recognizing his deep commitment and growing influence. One of the milestones in his career was serving as president of the Council of European Bishops' Conferences between 2006 and 2016. Over these 10 years, he coordinated efforts among bishops across Europe, facing key issues like religious decline in the West and various societal and political challenges. Erdő became a unifying voice for European Catholics and helped bridge divides between East and West. His leadership extended beyond Hungary, earning him a respected role in international religious dialogue. Known for his steadfast commitment to church doctrine, Cardinal Erdő consistently supports conservative views in theology and ethics. Though at times controversial, his positions reinforce his image as a staunch guardian of Catholic principles. For example, he has openly opposed allowing remarried Catholics to receive the Eucharist without first going through official reconciliation with the Church. For him, the Eucharist is more than a rite. It is a sacred symbol of unity and loyalty to the teachings of Christ. Although this view sparks debate in today's society that often calls for flexibility, it clearly reveals his firm position in defending the unchanging nature of Catholic doctrine. In addition to his theological firmness, Cardinal Erdő is also well known for his deep devotion to the Virgin Mary, a beautiful expression of his spiritual life. He regularly encourages believers to turn to the Virgin Mary as a source of comfort and strength in difficult times. In his homilies and speeches, he often highlights the role of faith in guiding one's life, especially in a world he sees as gradually losing its sacred meaning. For him, the Virgin Mary is not only a religious figure, but also a symbol of compassion and hope, messages he wants to share with the faithful, not just in Hungary, but around the world. Cardinal Erdő's leadership comes not only from his education and determination, but also from his serious, organized, and responsible working style. Those who have worked with him often describe him as calm, thoughtful, and always ready to listen. He is capable of balancing the management of internal church affairs with his role in representing the Church at international forums. This ability is especially important in today's Europe, where the Catholic Church faces challenges such as secularization, the rise of atheist movements, and social pressures like migration and inequality. With strong legal expertise and extensive leadership experience, Cardinal Peter Erdo is considered an ideal candidate by those who want the Church to maintain its traditional values in a fast-changing world. He represents a sense of stability and consistency that many believe is necessary to lead the Church through the storms of the times. However, his conservative views could also be a challenge, particularly as the Church tries to connect with modern values and attract younger generations, who may feel that traditional teachings are too far removed from their real lives. If one day Cardinal Erdo were chosen to be Pope, he might lead a papacy centered on strengthening faith, defending doctrine, and building a church that is strong from within. It would be a church that does not follow the trends of the times, but stands firm like a lighthouse amid turbulence. Yet, whether he can strike a balance between tradition and renewal to meet the needs of more than 1.2 billion Catholics worldwide is a question only time can answer. Cardinal Peter Erdo is not only a theologian and a leader, but also a man of deep faith. His life and career show the strength of learning, loyalty, and dedication to a sacred mission. Among the potential candidates to succeed Pope Francis, he is a noteworthy figure who carries both the responsibility and hope of the European Church, a continent that was once the cradle of Catholicism, but now faces unprecedented challenges. We will continue to explore other candidates on this list, but it's important to remember that each one brings a unique story and vision. Cardinal Erdo, with all he represents, is certainly an indispensable part of that broader picture. The next person on our list is Cardinal Pietro Parolin, an outstanding figure from Italy, who currently holds the position of Secretary of State of the Vatican, one of the most powerful roles in the Holy See, second only to the Pope. Born on January 17, 1955 in Schiavon, a small town in the Veneto region of northern Italy, Cardinal Parolin grew up in a humble Catholic family. From an early age, he showed intelligence and a deep commitment to faith, which later led him on the path to becoming one of the most important leaders of the global Catholic Church today. Cardinal Parolin's journey began humbly, but meaningfully. In 1980, at the age of 25, he was ordained a priest in his hometown in Italy. This was the first turning point in his career, marking the beginning of a life dedicated to the Church. But he did not stop at serving as a local priest. With keen intellect and a passion for service, he chose to enter the Vatican diplomatic corps, a field that demands not only theological knowledge, but also political skill and adaptability to diverse environments. In 1986, Cardinal Parolin officially began his diplomatic career, setting in motion a path that would lead him to various countries and expose him to intricate global diplomatic challenges. In the early stages of his career, he served in significant locations such as Nigeria and Mexico, two nations with highly divergent religious and political contexts. In Nigeria, he operated in a religiously diverse environment where Catholicism was just one part of a larger cultural tapestry, with Islam and indigenous beliefs having a notable presence. In Mexico, he confronted the complex relationship between the Church and the state, which had historically been strained. His experiences there not only honed his diplomatic acumen, but also helped him cultivate the ability to bridge gaps between differing cultures and ideologies, skills he would later apply to address more extensive global issues. Cardinal Parolin's career reached a defining moment in 2013, when Pope Francis, shortly after his election, appointed him as the Vatican's Secretary of State. This was a strategic decision, as Pope Francis, famous for his reformist agenda and openness, needed a dependable partner to help implement major reforms in the Church's global approach. As Secretary of State, Cardinal Parolin was responsible not only for overseeing Vatican's internal administration, but also for managing its entire foreign policy. He quickly became the representative of the Church in key international negotiations, handling issues ranging from humanitarian matters to complicated political disputes. In 2014, just 1 year after his appointment, Cardinal Parolin was made a cardinal during a prestigious ceremony, formally establishing himself among the Church's highest leadership. His reputation is built on his exceptional diplomatic abilities. He is regarded as one of the Vatican's finest negotiators, skillfully navigating delicate situations with finesse and efficacy. One of his most significant accomplishments has been his involvement in international matters such as Middle East peace and Vatican-China relations, two areas where the Catholic Church has faced long-standing challenges. Regarding the Middle East, he participated in dialogues aimed at promoting peace between Israel and Palestine, a conflict that has lasted for decades, with the Vatican seeking to play a mediating role. He also advocated for humanitarian initiatives to assist refugees and communities affected by war in the region, demonstrating a strong commitment to the vulnerable, a value shared with Pope Francis. However, perhaps the most controversial and significant achievement in Cardinal Parolin's career was his role in negotiating the agreement between the Vatican and China regarding the appointment of bishops. Signed in 2018 and renewed the following year, this agreement marked a historic shift in the relationship between the Holy See and the Chinese government, which had been fraught with tension due to disagreements over control of the Catholic Church in China. Prior to the agreement, the Chinese government often appointed bishops without Vatican consent, leading to the existence of two separate church entities: the underground church loyal to the Holy See and the official church recognized by the government. The agreement aimed to reconcile these two factions, allowing the Vatican to have a voice in selecting bishops, though still requiring China's approval. In 2019, when the agreement faced sharp criticism from some Catholic observers who believed the Vatican was conceding too much to a government that did not respect religious freedom, Cardinal Parolin defended the decision. He argued that the move was practical, not idealistic, and was meant to improve the lives of millions of Catholics in China who had long practiced their faith in secrecy or under surveillance. For him, the agreement was not just a diplomatic matter, but a pastoral initiative aimed at bringing reconciliation and support to the faithful. His ability to balance faith with politics was evident in his handling of the situation, though it remains a contentious issue within the Church. Aside from his diplomatic skills, Cardinal Parolin is also known as a close and trusted advisor to Pope Francis. Over the course of more than a decade working together, the two have developed a strong partnership, with Cardinal Parolin frequently acting as the Pope's right-hand man on critical matters. His approach to work is often described as calm, measured, and highly efficient. He is not one to seek the limelight or appear too frequently in public, preferring instead to work quietly and focus on achieving results. His extraordinary negotiation abilities, combined with his deep knowledge of international affairs, have made him one of the most influential figures at the Vatican today. Should Cardinal Pietro Parolin ever be selected as Pope, he could continue down the path set by Pope Francis, one of inclusion, dialogue, and openness to the world. Thanks to his extensive diplomatic background, he is capable of steering the Church through major global issues such as religious conflicts, social inequality, and dwindling faith in several regions. His leadership might strengthen the Vatican's presence in countries where the Church is still growing, like China and predominantly Muslim nations. Still, his pragmatic stance, especially on matters like the China deal, could draw criticism from conservative circles seeking a pope who upholds tradition more firmly. Cardinal Parolin is more than a skilled negotiator. He's a forward thinker. He understands that the Catholic Church must not isolate itself from the current of history, but engage constructively to remain relevant in an increasingly diverse and intricate world. With him at the helm, the Church could act as a mediator between cultures, a voice advocating peace and justice, while staying true to its sacred mission. Yet can he maintain a balance between reform and tradition, between pastoral outreach and doctrinal integrity, to meet the hopes of over 1.2 billion faithful worldwide? That remains a pressing question for the future. Cardinal Pietro Parolin exemplifies wisdom, diplomacy, and devotion to the Church. His life journey proves that a humble priest, from a small town can ascend to become a key figure in global religious leadership. Among the leading contenders to succeed Pope Francis, Parolin stands out for his modern, outward-looking, and adaptive leadership style, an approach that could further elevate the Church's global role. While there are other prominent names, Cardinal Parolin is certainly one to watch. From Africa rises a remarkable Catholic figure, Cardinal Peter Turkson, born in 1948 in Ghana. His spiritual path began with his ordination in 1975 and continued through years of dedicated study in theology and scripture. Known for his sharp intellect and broad vision, he was appointed Archbishop of Cape Coast in 1992, becoming a major religious leader in Ghana. In 2003, he was elevated to the College of Cardinals by Pope John Paul II, launching a new era in his Vatican service. Over nearly 20 years, he held critical posts such as President of the Pontifical Council for Justice and Peace, 2009 to 2017, where he championed human rights, poverty eradication, and economic equity. Later, as head of the Dicastery for Promoting Integral Human Development, 2016-2021, he tackled climate change, migration, and social justice. Cardinal Turkson is a distinguished scholar and a powerful global advocate. He passionately defends human dignity, critiques what he sees as harmful ideologies like relativism and atheism, and calls for bold church action in response to today's pressing issues, from poverty to environmental degradation. If chosen as the next pope, he would make history as the first African pope. This would be a watershed moment, not just for the Vatican, but for the global Catholic community, particularly as Africa represents the fastest-growing region in Catholicism. Is the Church prepared for such a monumental shift? Another influential contender is Cardinal Christoph Schönborn of Austria. Born in 1945 in Bohemia, now Czech Republic, he grew up during the upheavals of post-World War II to Europe. His family was displaced due to political turmoil, an early experience that deeply shaped his empathetic approach to those suffering from uprootedness, something that later defined his pastoral views. After joining the Dominican order, Schönborn was ordained in 1970 and soon earned recognition as an exceptional theologian. He played a vital role in drafting the Catechism of the Catholic Church, a key text that articulates Catholic teaching in a clear and accessible manner. Appointed Archbishop of Vienna in 1995 and made a cardinal in 1998 by Pope John Paul II, he has long been a major voice in the Church. Renowned for his theological insight, Cardinal Schönborn is also respected for his open and engaging spirit. He frequently explores how science and faith can harmonize, arguing they enrich each other rather than contradict. His sermons often address delicate themes such as marriage, family, and the Church's relevance in the modern age. His pastoral philosophy emphasizes empathy and inclusion. He once remarked, "The Church should not be a fortress, but a home with open doors." This philosophy is evident in his actions, from welcoming migrants to fostering dialogue with diverse groups. Although he will turn 80 in 2025, his extensive experience and progressive mindset still make him a strong candidate in any conclave. Will the Church embrace a leader who champions renewal while upholding sacred tradition? We've now looked at 5 leading contenders to follow Pope Francis. Each one brings a distinct identity. Cardinal Tagel's missionary warmth, Cardinal Erdo's adherence to tradition, Cardinal Parolin's diplomatic talent, Cardinal Turkson's global outlook, and Cardinal Schönborn's theological depth. Who will be chosen? The decision lies with the cardinals gathered in conclave, and ultimately, as believers hold, with the guidance of the Holy Spirit. Whatever the outcome, Pope Francis has already left an enduring legacy, a church rooted in mercy, justice, and hope. He has served not only as a spiritual leader, but as a thinker, reformer, and inspiration to millions. In turbulent times, he has guided the Church along the path of love, peace, and moral responsibility. His health may be in decline, but his spirit remains a beacon to many. What do you think about this story? Which of these 5 cardinals would make the best successor to Pope Francis? Leave your thoughts in the comments. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you won't miss any upcoming videos. I can't wait to talk more with you. Take care, and have a wonderful day.